this strikes me as a conversation that would intrigue maybe non-musicians, but like, I guess, I don't know, is this biology? I didn't pay attention in school. I was at homeschool. I was thinking.
You're playing guitar.
But yeah, it's funny. Like, is that something that drew you into building beyond the music? Was there another, like, any kind of stuff like this? Because I love being outside, and to me, to be around trees and stuff. And then, I mean, obviously, I don't want to cut down millions of forests for guitar's sake, but just to think about, nature influencing sound and then influencing art. And
Well, my dad was a forester, and he was a superintendent of a park, and we spent a lot of time out in the woods. And so I grew up with that kind of lifestyle. And when I moved, that's partly why I moved to Oregon, just to be in nature. And through working with the Forest Service for a while and eventually becoming a woodworker, made a lot of furniture, started out making dulcimers, lap dulcimers for people. And I've always been into music and woodworking. So I brought my 30 some years of woodworking experience to this, and also my mentor and friend, John Graven, who's probably the most prolific single builder in America. He's built over 2,500 guitars all by himself. And he's kind of he was a friend, and he kind of taught me how to voice these guitars. So as with everything, as you go through life, you get influenced by a lot of different things. And my woodworking, my father, John Graven, my love of music, all kind of came together, and I was able to parlay this into making guitars. And luckily, I crossed paths with Preston, and we were able to start this. So I'm not sure if that answered your question, but.
No, it's a fascinating thing, really, because I know some folks will just see guitars as, wow, it's a cool instrument. That sounds really good, and move on from there. And then I know that there's a lot of other folks that go, wow, it sounds really great. Why does it sound really great? And I think that draws a lot of people in. So that was something. I am new to a lot of this Instagram stuff, so I just noticed a little notification with another question from another pal who's an incredible guitar player, Mike Gomer. He asks if Preston Thompson Guitars has the best finishes he's ever seen. That's cool. But he wonders, did Preston Thompson prioritize aesthetics early on as well as finding that old sound?
Well, Preston, first of all, really appreciated the vintage guitars.
Yeah.
And so he appreciated their aesthetics, their design, their builds, and the way they sounded. And so what he was going after was that traditional look and the traditional sound. So the aesthetic for him with these guitars was he wanted to keep them. The designs are pretty basically simple. The purflings and the bindings and those kind of things are not elaborate. And so for the most part, he wanted to keep it within that. And he noticed too that the finishes were really thin, and they were nitro, and so that's what he went after. Also, he wasn't into as much flash as he was sound and simplicity. Over time, we've experimented from that base to add on a lot of custom designs, and Simon is a master of the sunburst, just like the one you have there. So we've added a lot of those things to it, but in response to his question, the initial aesthetic was a very simple one of the vintage guitars, Martins.
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, that was the funny thing to take the stage. I always noticed that I would get this question a lot. In like North Carolina and Tennessee and places like that, playing with Dirty Kitchen. I'd play this exact guitar, and some folks would come up that were clear they had been playing guitar for a long time, and they would always say, what kind of Gibson is that you're playing? Built on the set about, like, yeah, those early Martins, that kind of vintage era. There's a few sunbursts in there, yeah, but
yeah.
right. It was about sound, and that's you know, there's definitely other players that are way into vintage Martin guitars. I love Martin guitars too, but you're right. That certain era, mid '30s, that pre-war era that people refer to,
Yeah.
yeah, they look very simple. But you're right about the sound. Yeah, yeah, it's incredible.
And again, I can build all sorts of things into the sound to make them responsive and sound great. I just haven't figured out how to build old.
Well,
That's your responsibility.
oh, okay, yeah, there's that. Yeah, just playing it. Maybe when the scientists that are working so incredibly hard right now to find a vaccine for this current COVID-19 scenario that we find ourselves in, let's make some light of it. And maybe when that's done and we're back to normal, you know, we're not rushing back or anything, but maybe they'll find out how to build old somewhere.
Well, they've been trying to do that with Stradivarius for 100 years, so
Oh, man.
I'm not. I'll be gone by then.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you got to play them. No, you're right. I have noticed that you go to an incredible, pick whichever one you want, music store, and you know it's not always that case. You know, in addition to Thompson, there's so many other incredible builders out there right now, and their guitars sound incredible too. But you're right. You pick up that Martin guitar off the wall that's 75, 80 years old, and for whatever reason, maybe I'm just biased towards the ones that are all beat up because you know they've been played, and then you just see, you know, you can hear it immediately and go, oh yeah, this got played.
Yeah, and you can't get around that. One of our favorite sayings is when we make a new guitar and give it to the person, this is the worst it's ever going to sound, because over time it's going to open up. I mean, even in that first week that they have it, it's going to open up, because when you build a guitar and you first put the strings on it, you can imagine all, you know, you got these bent sides and you got, you know, braces and everything else on it. And then suddenly you have all these string tension on it. It's like this. It's going and it takes a while for that to settle out. And part of that is just playing and the vibrations and making all that material relax. And that's when it's really going to sound better. So you know, we can build it to sound great to begin with, but then it's your job to take it the rest of the way.
Oh, yeah.
You could just give them all the Billy strings for a week and they'd throw it in, but.
That's right. Talk about somebody who's playing a Thompson guitar all the time, everywhere.
Yeah, we are really blessed, partly because we've attracted some really amazing talent that play our guitars, and not just the big stars, but you know, regional bands and all sorts of really good players that they have choices. As you said, to me, it's like the golden era of guitar building right now. And there's a lot of choices out there for people. And we're lucky to have as many people as we have that really know how to play and they appreciate good guitars, turn to us and say, this is what I want to play. But also the fact that we have really so many great human beings that play our instruments, you know, really, you know, you mentioned Billy. Billy's, for as talented as he is, he's an incredibly humble person, an appreciative person. And there's a lot of people like that we have attracted. We feel really blessed by who they are as well as how well they play. So it's done a lot for us, we know, and we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, it's a cool community, isn't it?
It is.
Pretty neat community, and I feel very fortunate to be a part of it. Yeah, you're right. It's really cool. The artist and the builder and the guitar and the music all put together. It's really fun. Really love that.
Well, I remember the first time I went to IBMA and you kind of took me under your wing and we wandered around and saw all these people, and I was kind of in heaven. But the one thing I walked away from that event was the community. Yeah. It's an amazing community of people, the bluegrass world, but beyond that too, all the other, the musical world is a great community. People play because they really have a passion for it and they want to express themselves through music. And then all the rest of the people that love that they do that. John Prine just died. he did that for so many people, and just created a richness to their lives. And, you know, people like yourself, Chris, out there playing it, we can't wait so you can get back on the road so we can all get to see you again.
I know that kind of brings it to a thing I was going to mention. I know we got it looks like we got some eyeballs on this. I've been doing some live concerts online, as a lot of people are. And during those, and I want to make sure to mention it here, I know there's probably some folks, forgive me if folks out there already know about this, but it's worth mentioning. There's a lot of funds right now, being community fundraisers happening to keep musicians afloat during a scenario where we don't have any live venues anywhere around the world, which is kind of a crazy thing. I've been kind of directing people, there's a lot of them, but directing people towards Music Cares, which is awards and Grammy Awards and Recording Academy, and they're building a COVID-19 relief fund, and it's for everybody. It's for the guitar players and the keyboard players, but also for the event producers and sound men, and I would assume luthiers and companies in there that are taking hits right now. So check out Music Cares, and because they just do incredible things. And anyway, outside of this current crisis, but they're building a fund. And you're right, the community is. It's a crazy time right now, but it's really interesting to see how the creative community is coming together. And I've seen the Golden Age of guitar building right now. All the companies have been throwing artists online and doing promotion things. You guys have been, Christine has been posting some incredible connections to concerts and things. And then the Sisters Folk Festival there in your hometown, I noticed that they were doing a big kind of Facebook list of performers online. So right now, the community is that you're right that we saw at IBMA, the World of Bluegrass. It's helping each other out right now. Really.
Well, I think if we've learned anything through this viral time, is that we've learned what's important to us. Things that really matter, and music is one of those things. Whether you're a builder or player or listener, whatever it is, you realize it really makes a lot of difference in your world, quality of life kind of thing. And so I think people are really coming to fore and really supporting each other through it. So I'm glad you brought that out with Music Cares, because that's a really important venture.
There are a lot more. And if anybody's curious, email me or find out. Now, there's a few of them that I've checked out, but Music Cares is one of them. And then to make it lighthearted, to make a joke, what's a better time when you're at home for many hours than to get a guitar and play it?
True enough.
God.
We have continued to get orders, and I think that's part of it, is that people realize that, wow, music's really important to me, and I really want to get to play more music, and they're continuing to buy guitars, and we're really appreciative of that. You want to play another one?
I would love to. I just saw a little comment come in about no fretboard inlays on this particular guitar. This guitar is coming up, I think it's coming up on 5 years since I got it. I remember July 2015 getting this guitar, and the biggest thing that I remember chatting to Preston, we came up with the Woods combination and kind of overall sound. I had an idea for a Sunburst that still just blows me away every day. And then, we're all influenced by, of course, in the bluegrass world, by Tony Rice. And I just always loved that look of his D28 blank fingerboard, the Gretsch fingerboard. Talking about little nerdy stuff like that. So I said, hey, I would love a blank fingerboard. So that's what I got. But it's a bound fingerboard too. So it's kind of got this really interesting combo that I really like. And it's easy to forget about. Like, kind of didn't remember that until I looked down.
You don't look at it. You just see the side dots.
I'll tell you what, though. I recently acquired a guitar that was made in like a Selmer style, like a Django Reinhardt kind of thing. And the inlay pattern is different, including the side dots. And I was sitting there playing, and I looked down and went, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Important, I can tell you that.
Your point of reference.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I love it's just a little nod to maybe that Tony Rice kind of vibe, but yeah, that cool other. I mean, I like a lot of electric guitar appointments too that have really cool.
Yeah, we do a lot of great ones. There's a lot of customizing going on in the shop between Caleb and Simon, and if you haven't had a chance to go to the website and see a lot of the gallery of what we have been doing, we also have the second masterpiece coming out of our masterpiece series. We do those maybe one a year, and there's a lot of real great custom stuff coming out of the custom shop too. So from the other end of the spectrum, from the clean fretboard, we have all kinds of other things too. So go ahead and play something for us, Chris. Great.
And the crowd goes mild.
I'd get out my Bic lighter if I could, but we had a question about redwood.
Ooh.
And yeah, we our wheelhouse, as it were, is the vintage Martin sound and style. But we build with just about every kind of wood there is. We build with koa. We do redwood top guitars. We have some tunnel redwood that has been salvaged from tunnels in Northern California and Southern Oregon, old railroad tunnels. We've used, we do a lot of myrtle is a great wood also. If you want a different sound, it's got a real nice, clear, fundamental note to it. As I mentioned, a lot of koa. We do all mahogany guitars, all koa. We do, we've used Port Orford cedar for tops. We're game for just about anything. We've got we did one out of the tree recently, which is this, supposedly a big tree that had all this figured material in it that was cut down, and the material is incredibly figured. And it's one of the best sounding guitars I think we've produced. Hopefully it gets played by whoever buys it. It's an amazing guitar. But so we do build out of all sorts of different woods. It's not just the standard mahogany and rosewood. So
you guys
whatever combination you're interested in, we do.
Yeah, that's high mark for Preston Thompson guitars is, yeah, there's a pedestal of that vintage Martin thing. That's the goal, but you guys have adapted really well to other people's needs and desires, which is cool. I really quickly, I think I remembered that Instagram Live generally cuts off at an hour. I don't know if that's true. I've never done it that long, so we might wrap it up here in a few minutes.
Okay.
And somebody asked about your thoughts on hide glue. in less than a minute. Oh.
Well, hide glue is something that, it's one of those incremental things. It does make a difference in the sound of a guitar in an incremental way, but it also requires a special setup to do, because it's something that has to be put on hot, and it has to remain hot until everything's put together. So it's a tricky thing to do in a production shop. So we don't really do much of that at Thompson for that reason. There's a little question here. Are guitars mostly made and shipped to places like Carter's Vintage and other retail? We do, I would imagine, 65% go to dealers, and the rest are special orders. So if you have an order, you have something you want to get, you can get it directly from us. We can talk to you about any kind of special upgrades or something. We also have a list of all the guitars that are out there in dealers, so you can figure out if you want to go that route or not.
Cool. That's really great, man. Yeah, Thompson Guitars.
So if we do get cut off, I want to thank you, Chris, for doing this. I appreciate that.
Totally.
And, this is, once again, this is a year ago today was when Preston died, and this is a tribute to him. What we're doing to continue on his legacy and have this Instagram little get together is all about remembering Preston, and none of us would be here without him. So I want to make sure we say that.
That is so true. I have nothing but fond memories of Preston. What an incredible person. A friend to us all, a champion of music. I saw him in a bunch of my audiences playing concerts. I know he loved the bands, and I know he loved Charles Sautel. I love talking about Charles.
That was a great connection, and one that, again, that fueled his information about how to make these instruments. And I still have some of the patterns in the shop that he took from those guitars.
Oh, man. Those are going to be next to the Declaration of Independence pretty soon. Tell you what. Yeah, this is totally fun. Another thing that popped into my mind about the community, I know folks might be curious about how artists are going on about this crazy time. A lot of your favorite guitar players, a lot of my favorite guitar players are giving lessons online right now.
Right. Including you.
Business pitch, I am too. Not that, but yeah, everybody's trying to figure out ways. So yeah, if you order a guitar and now you're wondering, how do I play this thing? Give us a call. And many other Thompson artists are doing that as well, I know. And Facebook Live and in live streams, there are some incredible concerts. So I hope folks will continue to tune in. There's always virtual tip jars and stuff, which is pretty amazing. People are being super generous with that. And then, yeah, we mentioned Music Cares is building a relief fund for out-of-work musicians. I guess my last question to you is, I don't know, what would that be? I guess guitar building, to me as an outsider, as a player, seems like a very rewarding creative process. I would say if you had to hip, the last thing if you had to hip an artist to something about the building process that they just have no idea about, that would maybe blow their minds or something, what is that, do you think, like, as an artist? You wouldn't know.
I'm not sure what that would be, but to make a long story short, it's a very complicated process to make them sound as good as they do and perform as well as they do. And it takes either an individual who knows all those different parts to be able to do it, or a team like we have to be able to do it. And we're blessed with a great team. And I really appreciate working with them. If we are going to be cut off, I want to make sure to say that I want everybody to be safe, wash your hands, use your mask. We'll get through this. And we'll be out there watching Chris and Frank Sullivan and the rest of the guys out there playing on the road soon, hopefully.
That's wise words, man. Totally awesome. Well, we'll make sure to let everybody know if we do another one of these kind of hangout sessions. This was totally fun for me, like just a afternoon hangout. This is what we'd normally do anyway if we were at the shop, right? Just talk
Yeah.
about great records and guitars. And thanks everybody for chiming in. I can see comments and hearts and everything. This is so great. Thank you, Gareth. Everybody, Gareth Jenkins over there in Oregon. Love you a lot. You're awesome. Keep up the great work, and can't wait to talk to you. So.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Preston Thompson Guitars. Long live Preston Thompson, the man, and the company going strong. Love everything about these guitars and the music. Keep the music alive. So we'll talk to everybody soon. Gareth, be safe, man.
All right, you too, Chris.
Cool. All right. Out. Over and out.